Hello, welcome to Truth Runs Deep podcast. I'm Terryn,
I'm Kalli.
and we're here to talk about all things Law and Order, SVU, organized, the mothership, organized crime, fanfic writing, and more. I think I covered it all. There's a lot of
Yes,
stuff
because
going
we can
on.
actually talk about everything now.
Yeah, we can. I don't know if we're too happy about it. I guess at the moment we might be, but we
Mhm.
are.
We'll
We're
get
gonna
to
do
that.
it. There were 3 birthdays since the last time we have recorded.
So, yes. So, Jordana Spiro's birthday was April 12th, and you might know her from, God.
She was in a Final Call and Friendliness bar,
Thank
and
you.
then
I
she
was
was
like,
also
what
And
is
then
that?
she was also in
She
she
was
played the
Shannon. What is it?
yes,
Shanna?
yes, Shannon. Yes, Shannon.
FBI
Um
agent last
and
season.
the yes. So she worked for the FBI. So
I totally spaced that until I was like, why are they posting stuff for her? Like she was only on once. Nope.
she was on like
She
5 or 6 times. Oh, I don't
had
remember how many episodes she had, but they were only like because season 25 was short, so they had like 13 episodes, and then she was in like maybe 6 of them.
yeah.
So I don't remember. It's been a minute.
Kelly's birthday was Sunday. Uh Happy birthday, Kelly. Yay.
Yes.
And Danny's birthday tomorrow was yesterday.
Yes. I don't think we missed any birthdays. I've been trying to keep up with it, but that
We
that should be all the birthdays.
have one tomorrow.
Who's tomorrow?
Kate.
Oh, wait.
Yes. Because he's like, oh, my
Oh,
birthday's the premiere day.
oh yeah. Correct. Because at first I thought you said Kate, and I was confused, but you said Tate, so yes. But yes,
Tate
yes.
Ellington,
So
who plays Vargas on Organized
the
Crime, his
Vargas.
birthday is tomorrow because
I
he's
guess
like,
he's like,
oh, my birthday is
watch it on my birthday.
premiere day.
Yes, so that'll be tomorrow. Yes. Well, if you're a night hawk, you can watch it tonight at midnight Eastern time. But it should be available tonight.
We
We don't
will.
know what we're getting.
Yeah,
We'll
we
find
don't
out
know
what
what we're
happens.
gonna do yet. We'll figure that out.
Something will happen. Something will happen. When it will happen, I don't know, but something will happen. Yes. There's some. I guess I'll save some of most of these articles. I think we'll talk about after or in between because they're
They're
about
all
next week, tomorrow's episode. Most of the other thing. One of these is about Danielle's interview about organized crime, which we'll save at the end. The other two were about the crossover that is tomorrow. So we'll save the articles that we had. I just put them at the top of the doc so I know where they are.
yes. Okay. We're gonna
So
talk
this
about
week,
these at the past episodes before we get into what's going on tomorrow.
well, this episode is called Inherit. Oh, I guess for the mothership. There was something I'll talk about. I did have a serious thought of something I want to talk about, but I'll talk about it. Yeah, we'll talk about SVU because it's more SVU related. But I think more people need to be informed about that situation with the video game. So, we'll talk about that later.
Okay. So anyway,
But
mothership. The episode is called Inherent Bias,
what to
and
do?
it starts with this WNBA player who's leaving a game after scoring the game winning
Yeah, I don't remember the game won or lost, but
basket. And she's walking down the hallway in Madison Square Garden, and all of a sudden somebody pops out and kills her.
yeah, you know how it goes on the show. You know, people be like, and then dead. You know,
Yeah.
chairs.
So then we get the opening, and then we get then we get Shaw and Riley arriving at the crime scene.
Because Riley, I mean, is back. Well, was Shaw back last week?
Yes. No, this is Shaw's finally back.
Okay, then, because I was like, wait a second, I had to get stuff in order in my brain. Yes,
Shaw's
finally
back. Yay.
He was actually filming the movie. I saw an article somewhere. He was indeed filming the movie. So
and so yeah, they arrive at the crime scene, and Riley is like, "Oh, that's Cameron Adler," and Shaw's like, "Didn't peg you for a WNBA fan," and he's like, "My daughter loves this stuff," so he watches it with his daughter. Cute bonding moments.
People have and having good relationships with their children. Sometimes law and order people do not have good relationships.
Do that.
So yes.
Do that. Be the good dad. We'll get to more on that. Sure.
Later.
Anyway, yeah, so that's why he knows who she is. She is pretty much like this big up and comer. Like she had a great future ahead of her.
Think of what is her name? Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark,
Caitlin
yeah.
Clark, yes. Basically, that's kind of with the situation. They nothing bad happened in real life, but I think they kind of loosely.
Yeah, so she's like the Caitlin Clark of the Law and Order universe.
Yeah, basically, if that makes more sense. If that helps you understand what we're talking about, I think that the illustration.
Yes. So then they find out that there was another player on the team, on the opposing team that they had just played, who had bought a weapon 6 months ago. And she's black. And they're like, okay, why? They went to go talk to her and basically like, why did you buy a weapon? She's like, it's great that all of our popularity is rising, but also that brings crazy fans.
Yeah, there's some crazy.
So she basically bought it for protection. And we find out that like her and Cameron
we've talked about this before. This is a random off tangent about how fandoms in any form can be really good or really bad. So
and Cameron had her and Cameron had this rivalry. Like they really
it's kind of I forgot what was her player. I forgot the other player's name.
I don't remember, but I know that it was literally they both respect each other. In real
because of the real life situation is that this happens.
We're
friends actually. We all made up this beef. Yeah.
Yeah, they have the beef for the on the court and to make it more exciting and stuff. But then they're like, why is but then they're like, oh yeah, Cameron's the hero and she's not. And then Riley's like, why? And then she's like, because Cameron's white.
Yeah.
And then Riley isn't understanding, but Shaw's
this is the kind of episode where because they talk a lot about race in this episode, and it's kind of situation that clearly the white people do not understand why this is significant kind of thing goes on here.
Yeah.
But continuing.
Anyway, so then they go talk to Cameron's girlfriend, who happens to be black as well. And she goes on to say that the public had an inherent bias. White hero? Black villain.
Yeah, it is true. Women, particularly black women, are often stereotyped as being the aggressor.
Yeah. Which is literally what their beef was about on the court.
Yeah.
And in reality, she's not aggressive at all.
Yeah, they're just playing basketball. You know how basketball can be. Basketball can be aggressive, but
yes,
they weren't serious. It wasn't anything it's has it in the right spot.
Yeah, they go talk to Cameron's girlfriend. She mentions the inherent bias. Basically, she is hailed as a basketball hero because she's white when all the black athletes have been literally fighting for the same amount of respect for years.
Yes, and don't get it.
So the girlfriend is devastated that Cameron is dead and that she wants to help figure out what is going on. So then they go to talk to Cameron's parents. And they say her parents are pretty accepting of the fact that she is dating a black woman and a woman.
Yeah, we don't know if she's a lesbian or bisexual or anything like that. We just know that she is attracted to a woman. I don't think they said specifically.
Because then they mentioned that her ex, Greg, was a sports reporter and that he was here to cover the game.
Yeah, at Madison Square Garden.
And then he decided to text her some slurs.
Not some slurs about like say slurs, but you know what they're talking about related to LGBTQ people.
Yes. And they go to confront him, and it's like he's pretty much like, well, it's not like I care that Cameron is dating a woman now. He definitely fucking does.
He definitely does. You're a little bitter here, you know.
Yeah, it's like his ego's fucking hurt. Sorry, man. She doesn't love you anymore. She likes
Now
a
she's
girlfriend.
moved on.
Deal with it.
Moved on. The Toxic Ex for real.
Yeah. Anyway, they
need to
talk
watch
about
that later.
the ex, and they're like, he saw Cameron fighting with another guy when she left her home.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to go track down that guy, and they find a logo on like the guy's jacket, or something that it's called. It said big letters HS. So they go to investigate where this HS company is, and it is called Higher Score, and it is a listed Mary Jane.
Yeah, it's the one that is I don't know if YouTube will let you say the word, but like that word.
That's
but
why
you know what it is. It's a green plant that people typically
and literally like they go to talk to the guy.
Depending on where you live, it is legal. In some places, it is not legal. In some places, it's legal for medical purposes, but not recreational purposes. So
in New York, where the show
it is legal. It is legal.
Yes. So they go to talk to the they go to talk to the higher up at the place, and he's like, they're pretty much, Riley is like, okay, so they're pretty much trying to make blank the next Pinot Grigio for white women, basically. We then find out that she had like an injury and that she was using the Mary Jane for the pain, which is what a lot of people do. CBD oils and all that stuff.
Yeah. Because some places CBD oil is legal, but weed is not.
Yeah.
So it kind of just depends on like where you live.
So then they get like told that she had like a business partner or something.
Yeah.
That she was arguing with, and she was going to fire him, and he didn't like that. So now he's like their main suspect, and unfortunately, the guy happens to be black and have prior convictions. So as
they kind of are making assumptions about him.
Yeah. So as Shaw and Riley are leaving the company and talking about what's going on, Shaw says, great, so we got black felon kills America's white sweetheart. Not exactly what my people need right now. Or ever. Because there's always like this stereotypical like thing that black men kill.
Want to harm. And stereotype's been around a long time since. If you all have, I mean, you probably haven't, but like, I guess I'm gonna give you a little historical context because I'm a history person. Typically, this kind of media has existed a long time, particularly with the film "The Birth of a Nation," which you should not be watching if you can find it, don't watch the movie because it's very racist. But it was kind of the big thing that like really instilled that like black men were trying to harm white women, and this film is probably one of the highest. It was one of the highest ranking like films at its time. They literally watched it at the White House. Like I forget what president is, but the president, it was at the White, like they showed this movie at the White House, and like it was such a big like deal, and like it kind of that stereotype still exists to this day because a lot of films, particularly, I mean, even like real life cases, we think about like brain is blanking.
A real life case.
Yes. Sorry.
I can't even think of one. I can just think of the ones that it was the stereotype.
That's what I was trying to do.
Emmett Till.
Sorry. Yes, that's what I was trying to get to. Sorry, y'all. I have some health issues going on. It makes my brain foggy, so I don't actually remember a lot of things I say. But yes, I was trying to get to Emmett Till and how like that stereotype of like he was basically lynched um because they said a woman said that like he was whistling. A white woman said that this young boy he was a young boy was whistling at her and a mob lynched him. Um and like nowadays, I think this woman recently either died or has
She
terminal
has
cancer.
cancer,
Yeah, and everyone's
and
like, well,
I don't wish it on anybody,
like nobody feels sorry for me.
but nobody feels sorry for her.
Yeah, because and like Emmett Till's mother only recently passed, maybe past 10 years or so, but like she wanted her son's casket open and like they kind of toured it around the United States, being like, this is what this causes. It is a big deal that's been instilled into our nation for hundreds of years, and it's still a very prominent theme today. Particularly nowadays with the police, which is why this all kind of comes back together about how like um the police making assumptions about black men and young boys and either ending their lives or causing them serious injury, or particularly autistic young black men are really been in danger the past. I don't know if he was black, but he wasn't like he was a person of color who was killed by the well, not initially killed, but he was shot, and then he did not survive his injuries. A young man. So like this is a very serious topic, and more people should be talking about it. I
Yeah,
think that was the history lesson is over now.
been going on for far too long. So yes, so Jalen is like, this isn't good now,
Yeah,
ever. Like, if this guy didn't do it, people are gonna think he did it anyway just because he's black.
exactly. That's what he was trying to get at. It's like just because he's black, they're going to assume the worst about him.
They do soon find the guy. His name is Darius. Uh, um,
He's
King.
running. He
Yes,
started. Yeah,
and
Darius
he
starts to
sees
run
them. They alert themselves as NYPD, and he runs.
because running from the police because we don't trust as
Yeah,
even as young black people we are taught you don't trust the police because the police are probably not going to help you.
yeah. It's like it's not like you're told not to run, but you're also told don't trust them. So whatever you
Yeah,
do, it's not gonna go well.
it's not going to go well for you.
Um, so yeah, so Darius runs away. Riley and Shaw start chasing after him. Riley is further ahead than Shaw. Darius reaches a river. He pulls something out of his pocket and throws it in the water.
Yeah,
And Riley instantly says that he
I think it
thinks
was
it was the weapon, the 9mm that was used to kill Cameron. Shaw does not say anything at that point
yeah,
because
because
he
he's
just
not sure.
is not
It
sure.
just looks it was just something that's kind of small but not like specific enough to know exactly what it is.
And yeah, so then they bring down like the crime scene unit, and Riley's like, it was, I saw him throw it in the
Yeah,
water.
because
Problem
they
is,
can't
it's
find it in the water because the water's too cold or
too
something
close
like
to
that.
the
There's a
beach,
reason why they can't go diving for it, or it would take a long time to go diving for it because
so
the
they
water's
gotta
too
wait.
cold. So,
The
yeah.
defense, like they go to arraignment and everything, and
Yeah.
defense is like, this is pure racial
Yeah,
bias.
we'll have to be on the defensive side on this one because it is true.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. The one time we're not gonna agree with our people.
There's a couple times no, but this time it was for real.
One, okay, another one specifically. Anyway, we'll get to that. So they're like, yeah, they thought he had a gun because he was black. But they're like, no, it wasn't a gun.
Yeah,
They don't say what it was yet, but they're like, it wasn't a
yeah,
gun.
clearly was not. There's a certain look to. Well, I guess we'll get to that part. He says it's but anyway.
And when we get Baxter, Sam, and Nolan talking, and then they're like, yeah, they couldn't find a gun.
Couldn't be found. So
So murder weapon non-existent.
It's at the bottom of the Hudson, probably, but no one's gonna go look for it now.
Then they get
The defense is, I think, where we are.
yeah. So the manager of the Mary Jane company apparently the defense is now saying that he is the one that organized the hit because he was apparently going to get fired at Cameron instead of Darius. And so the defense attorney goes on and is like, you rich white guys and your suits get others to do the dirty work for you.
Yeah. Which is not wrong.
So, and Nolan's like, this is preposterous. They're literally creating a suspect out of nowhere. And the defense is like, no, not out of nowhere, and we'll prove it. So then we get Nolan and Baxter talking, and it's like, well, great, because if this creates reasonable doubt, then the guy gets away with it anyway. And Baxter's like, her fans will want to get justice. And Nolan says, they will. Trust me. And Baxter says, I do. And I was like, aw, they trust each other. Yay. We're done with the fighting stage.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they put Riley on the stand. And we forgot to mention this earlier, but there was a facial rec. No, not Riley. Yeah. A guy who works with facial rec software at the Garden that they did it, and it came up being Darius. The thing is, and Chicago PD has done this before too.
Yes.
Facial rec softwares are not accurate when it comes to identifying Black people. It's like literally, no matter how digitally
they just can't do it.
The technology it's not purposefully. It's most always going to be the case that it's not going to identify them correctly.
Yeah. I mean, considering that even photography didn't work well for Black people until maybe the past 20 years or so, facial rec probably is in the same boat.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, Riley was like, oh, there was blood on his jeans. Okay.
You can have blood on your jeans from a lot of things, but that's only mean
literally that's all we got. Okay. And then we get Darius testifying, and that it turns out that according to him, he did not throw a weapon into the water. He threw a hard drive into the water with all the evidence that he needed to get the manager from earlier out. And he threw it in the water because he was scared he was going to get in trouble for having it. And that's when Shaw starts putting pieces together.
Yeah.
And he talks to Riley. And Riley's like, you saw it's a gun, right? And then Jalen's like, no. I think he's telling the truth.
Got a link another article.
Sorry, another one.
On my phone. It's related to the crossover, so we can't talk about it yet. Anyway.
Jalen's like, yeah, it had no identifying marks of a weapon.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no barrel, there's no trigger, nothing. There's no any of the things that make it look like
literally all they have is that it's black.
Yeah. And it's kind of small, but that's about it.
Black and small.
I'm like, that's not very descriptive. What was I doing? There's something I picked up my phone to do something else actually, but I forgot what that.
And he continues and says that pretty much everybody has an inherent bias.
Yep.
Then we get the lawyers talking about it again, and Sam is like, well, maybe they do have the wrong guy, and they should drop it.
Because that can be true.
Because that can be true. And then Nolan stupidly goes, well, no, it's obvious he had a gun. And Sam's like, well, maybe it's obvious to you, maybe. And
I
then
don't know what he put
Baxter's
to my phone
kind of
before
just
now.
sitting there like, ooh. Because again, with the bias, you got Price, the typical rich white lawyer,
What he is.
versus Sam, the
We don't really know how.
Middle Eastern
And she is Middle Eastern and a woman.
woman.
Probably not making as much money as the other two men in this room. But, you know.
Like, yeah. So she's like, yeah, it's obvious that you would think it was a weapon because, sorry, but you're white.
Exactly. You're not thinking about the consequences
You're
of
not
such.
thinking about it. So then then Jalen pretty much goes and tells Baxter and everybody's like, no, I don't think it was a weapon. So now they have to have him testify
Yeah.
his side of the story and how he believes that it was a hard drive. Problem is, earlier in the episode,
You had a kind of a side conversation
they had a
with
side conversation that no one thought was going to come up again.
mean anything, They was kind of talking,
That he said that he did not want Darius to be guilty because he knew it would be bad for the Black community. Well,
which is true.
you told that to Riley in confidence.
Yeah.
Riley was talking to Price, and it came out. So Price in court when he's because
like, didn't he tell you? You're like, bro, you're supposed to be telling me
that. Shaw was testifying for the defense, so
yes,
they
the
had
defense
Price
the
cross-examining him. And he's like, is it true you told your partner that you didn't want him to be guilty because it would be bad for the Black community? And Shaw, he has to answer, but he's like, crap. So
like,
they
go.
go.
Telling that first of all, it's kind of like a
He
little bit of a
literally
betrayal
goes
in a sense. Is it?
Yeah.
It's a
And then
sense
he
of betrayal at the moment.
Yes.
Like,
And then he literally goes to Riley and it's like, what the hell?
exactly.
Like
we
I
were
told
just
you that
talking
in confidence.
like,
and he's like, I don't know. Like I was just talking to him and it came out. And he's like, okay, well, yeah, so much for that. Thanks, partner.
exactly. It's like, oh.
And then Riley is like, okay, well, there isn't anything we can do now. We're going to leave it up to the jury. And Charles like, that is exactly the point. Exactly. They're going to take one look at you, one look at me. Who do you think they're going to side with?
Exactly. So then they go back. This is the last item. They go wait for the verdict here.
And unfortunately, Darius is found guilty.
He is. And he's innocent.
He's full on shocked.
Exactly.
Like, then we get probably one of the most heartbreaking scenes of the season. He's trying so hard to not be carried away. And he's literally pleading to the jury, please, I'm innocent. You gotta believe me. I'm innocent. I'm innocent. And it's like, fuck. Nope. I don't think he did it. Nope.
Yeah.
And then the camera cuts to Shaw and Riley just sitting there quietly, and it's like, shit. Like, I know we're probably not gonna get one, but this is an episode that I would love a part 2 to, because no, that guy should not be in jail. He didn't do it.
Yeah, exactly. He is indeed innocent.
He is only in jail because of bias. He didn't do it. He's innocent.
He is. There's a part, I think, I don't know if we talked about it or not, but there's a part where it kind of doesn't make a lot. I mean, there's a part where Riley and Shaw are talking, and Riley kind of says that black people have a bias too, and I was like,
dude.
It comes from a very privileged place for you to say that when you're not part of a marginalized group of people who have literally been targeted by the police.
Yeah, literally.
So
okay, so I give this one 4 stars. I can't give it any higher because I'm guilty. And you shouldn't have.
Didn't like the verdict.
That's next week because I don't remember. Oh, duh,
The
stupid
crossover.
ass.
What are you talking about? It's the crossover. So
The crossover.
so
Uh,
well, I think it makes the most sense to talk about it all at the same time, but it is indeed a crossover, and it is. We'll talk about. I think. Should we talk about it now? Or wait
no,
to the end.
no.
We'll talk about it together because you get a second promo of that like a little bit different than. But I think there's something. This is some recent news. I think I want to talk about it. Well, I was scrolling Twitter on the other day, and so there's a couple months ago, there's a video game came out that was called. It's no longer on Steam, so you can't don't even play this game anyway. But it
Nope.
was called No Mercy, and basically it is a game that was about basically it's kind of a dystopia, I guess you could say, where where men had the right to sexually assault uh women, and basically in the game that's what you were supposed to do. And like people got really there's a petition that went out to say remove this game from Steam because it literally promotes the of like violent horrific essay. This game should be removed from Steam. So there was a change.org campaign, which is it's well, they reached them. The game is no longer on Steam now, but this game came out, and it was really bad. Like it's horrible what people can do in that game. And then I was kind of like looking into it because I was like, I'm curious to know like what are people saying about it. And then you see a lot of people, particularly men, defending in this game, saying that like, well, in GTA you can rob people. What's wrong with this? And you're like,
Robbing is completely different.
yes. And then like people saying that like there is a lot of weird defenses of like this game that literally tells you to commit the most horrible crime you can commit to another human being. Um, People defending it, being like, it's just a game. We're like, no, it's
No.
not just a game. It literally promotes the harm to women and girls and your family members. Particularly, the game talks about people. The character does it to his family members, which makes it worse.
Yo, I didn't know that part. Fuck.
So like
Rude.
and people are like, where can I still get this game? Probably somewhere illegal, so don't be doing that. So like,
How about
so if
no?
you're just as outraged as I am about No Mercy, there is a petition. I mean, the game's not on Steam, but I guess you can still make your voices heard about why this game is bad. And who thought this was a good idea? Why did they sell it? And Steam removed it because so many people complained about like you're allowing a game that literally is about sexual assault, and sexual assault is a very serious topic, and we already live in a society where women are literally in danger at all times. And horrific, prolific game about this is very disgusting and should not happen. I was gonna make a I'll make a more I was gonna make a I'm gonna make a deeper dive on this game on my YouTube channel because I want to talk about this a bit more because I think it's a very serious topic. I just haven't sat down to like record it yet. Um, but it is a very serious topic, and I thought that like going into SVU that we should talk about it and make you informed about like what things are happening in the video game industry. That like it's not a video game where when women's lives are at stake. This is not cool. It's not fun. You should not be playing it. Um, I that's what I was doing. I was looking for my note. I'm gonna steal some of my own notes that I had made about this game. But if you want to know about it, I will put the link to the petition in below if you want this. Well, they've already won the campaign with 70,000 people have signed this petition saying this game needs to be removed.
Good.
Because the problem is Steam has games rated for people 12 plus on it, and like nothing keeps people. You don't have to verify your age for real on Steam, so nothing stops young people from looking at this game. And it basically shows these crimes as entertainment. This game encourages men to own and subdue women. R and humiliation are portrayed as appropriate punishments for disobedient women. Women are found as secretly desiring it. There appears to be no obstacles in the way for a child accessing the game.
That's not good.
They're portraying it basically as like a love story, essentially. Um, so like it's very disgusting, and basically there's a lot of female gamers and sexual assault survivors who are condemned this game, and like this game should definitely be removed and should never be found anywhere anywhere on the face of the earth ever again. It's removed and it's not removed everywhere though. Apparently, the game is only being removed in Australia. because it breached Australian law. But basically, the game is not removed from Steam globally yet, so you can still go sign this petition and get your voices heard about it because it's a very serious topic. So this game should be removed and nobody should be playing it. There's a couple of tweets that this person's saying, the men in the replies of the tweet saying this game is removed, basically saying if I can't play a game where I commit real sexual violence for shits and giggles, then what the First Amendment is dead. I mean, this is why you can't get me to care about the male loneliness epidemic.
Jesus Christ, people!
Literally, people are like, where
You
can I
want
still
to
get
be
this game?
hopeless in a damn video game, let alone anywhere else.
Exactly. This tweet says that like people talk literally this game about, sexual assault, your own mother, and then people are being like, it's just a game, so I'm being sensitive. But then other topics and like LGBTQ women leading, they're like, this game is woke. Like, what is going on? Literally, people are too much these days. Literally, sexual violence is serious and is not entertainment. This is from the National Center on Sexual Violence. Says that sexual violence is not entertainment. No mercy encourages players to sexually assault women. This is not a game. This is abuse. That we demand Steam take down this game because Steam has not fully taken it down everywhere. So this is a very serious topic. So let your voices be heard about what you think about this game and that it should be removed everywhere globally. Okay, sorry, I had to put that out there so that you were all informed.
Important. What the fuck? Who made the game?
Some men, and how like
probably men,
and men in the replies are like, I still want this game, or like, oh my, such and such does not see it, but usually a woman does not see the problem with this game, or like, that doesn't mean you should be playing it. That's
don't
disturbing.
care. Go away.
That you literally want to play a game about sexual assault is crazy. Like, and you wonder why women don't want to date men because it's on your own.
Yeah, literally. This is why it's us, because we're fucking dumb.
Exactly. Like,
the only men that I want are fictional characters I cannot get.
Because real life people just no. So basically, get that game removed. Don't play. Don't talk. So this was a very important segment. I feel like that since we talk about SVU, it was important to talk about it. Since we like video games, also something I thought was important to talk about. So get that game removed from Steam. Do your work. You can do it. Make your voices heard. Okay.
Do it. Okay. Anyway,
so SVU is called The Accuser.
The Accuser. And
which is interesting.
Yes, it was definitely an interesting one because it did not go where I thought it was going.
No, it didn't. It didn't go where I thought it was going. It kind of led you on a trail and then took you off the trail.
Like, it's definitely a trail they've done before, but like I wasn't expecting it to be for this one.
Yeah, SVU has talked about male sexual assault before.
So a guy is not like this. So we'll get time to get into the details. So a guy is working on a fence for a brownstone. His name is Eddie Upshaw. He's a welder.
He's a welder. He's welding.
And then you hear this loud noise, and then that's you see someone watching him, and that's about it. Then
you know how it goes.
We have this young guy. His name is Sam. He goes to go looking for Eddie to get
He's with his dad, by the way. He's walking with his dad. I think that also something that is important.
Dad is like, go in there. Just go get your last paycheck. It's fine. And he walks in, and we see that the guy, Eddie, is literally tied to a fence, unconscious, with his pants down, and bleeding.
There's blood on the floor. He's got a bruise on his head.
And there's
a very large gash
date etched into his back. 6/15/01.
Yes, and this is very important later because you're like, what does this mean? But you'll find out what it means.
Yeah, then we get the kid is literally staring at it like, oh my god. And the dad's like, hey, what's going on? What's taking so long?
Yeah, they're like, oh.
Like ushers your son out of there. And they call.
Like, you don't even look into this.
Yeah, call 911, obviously. So then we get the opening, and we go to the precinct, and we get Olivia in this gorgeous white
white turtleneck and her
green
blazer, and
yay queen.
everyone was just like, everyone saw that promo and was like, "Oh my god!"
And then literally, I don't think anyone was paying attention.
No one took in the promo of what was happening. Everyone was just like, "She looks so good today."
Literally, ooh, she looks good. Do we have a picture?
Yeah, hold on. I accidentally closed all the tabs. We do. Hopefully, it's in the. I have y'all. Well, I have two monitors, so like I have us on one screen and my other stuff on the other screen. So like, hold on, it would be faster.
Looking respectfully.
I'm pulling it up, so I don't have to like close anything while I'm doing it. But looking spec, I was trying to look respectfully because she's so good in the white turtleneck. But like that combo is just, man.
Yeah. So they're like talking about him. He's in the hospital, waiting for him to wake up because he was unconscious. And
where is it?
Everybody we've talked to like said this guy's like pretty good guy. And then
they didn't put the white on the website. They didn't put on the picture website. Did not have the white turtleneck one. That's on my phone somewhere, probably then.
And
I'm pretty certain I saved that on my phone.
Not everyone is liked by everyone. They then get a call.
The white turtleneck combo.
Yeah, terryn looks for it. I'll keep talking. So then they find out that the kid.
Here we go.
Yes.
This look was looking, for real.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry.
Then
a moment for the turtle combo.
Yes.
Okay.
A moment for the turtleneck. Pause. Pause for the dress. Pause for the turtleneck.
Moving on.
They get Eddie. They find out that Eddie called Sam 10 times last night. So they're trying to figure out what that's all about.
What's going on?
And Carisi walks in. And he's like, "Okay, this is great, but I need more."
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna plot for us. I have a thought for a moment of like, they kind of. Well, I mean, we know how this is how Carisi is anyway, but they kind of, they didn't even have him like Olivia be like, check in with him about like, how are you? Well, you've been to the ringer last week.
Didn't they air this out of order? So
yeah, they did. I forgot. You're right. Sorry. There is an episode out of order kind of thing that happened. So I forgot. I was like, why didn't she ask about him?
We'll probably get him asking about it the week after the episode after.
Because they flipped. You're right. Because I forgot they flipped it because this was supposed to be next week. The accuser was supposed to be next week, and the one that Kelly's in was supposed to be the week before. So
yeah, why did they change it? I don't get it.
I don't know. But they did, so therefore it didn't make. Because I was like, why didn't Olivia, check on him? Because I feel like, she's always checking him before.
Out of order again.
This happened one other time before earlier this season with they flipped. I guess because it's the one with Jesse gets the cell phone because you're like, wait a second, wasn't she like the way they explain it, like where Amanda was, and they're like, wait a minute, something is correct.
She was here. What? Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they did a little mix up there. So like that one little line sometimes would be like, you can tell this wasn't in the order it was supposed to be.
So yeah, so we have this episode, then the crossover, and then Kelly will be back. Yeah. Yay.
And then it'll be like 3 more, and then that's it. So for 2 more.
We're still fingers crossed for what we hope is happening.
Mm-hmm.
We still don't know.
Because there's no information about the last 2, so because I think that's 20, 22, 20. It sells up to 20, 22. So there's 2 more after that, and they haven't said what they're about. So
yes. Okay. So anyway, they go to talk to the doctors about Eddie, and they find out that he was thankfully unconscious for most of it.
I guess he was in horrible pain.
They go to talk to the guy.
I don't know if you're gonna feel the same way about Eddie at the beginning as you do at the end. But
they go to talk to the guy, and he's laying on his stomach. He's gotten a hit. Like
they've bandaged his head. He's
that's the difference between women and men when they get the kits. Women are like usually on their backs. Men's have to be on their stomach.
Yeah,
it's not great.
Yeah, that's right.
And so Finn and Bruno were talking to him, and then all of a sudden, like, they say something, and I forget what it was. but they're like, he's like, you're asking me like I did something to deserve
They're kind of
this.
just asking general questions about like who did this, like what happened, and he's like, you're acting like I deserve it. You're like,
And it's like they are literally scarred me for life.
yeah,
Like the date on his back.
literally, it's literally so.
And then Finn is like, well, it's just that statistically speaking, a man your age is the least likely to get assaulted.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Then we like they go to talk to his wife, and we find out that his wife divorced him 5 years ago after 25 years.
Yeah.
And they don't really know why. Then Bruno has been like getting close with Sam, the young kid, and Sam's like, I need to talk to you. So they meet up in the park. And we find out that the real reason Sam left the job is because Eddie was molesting him and grooming him.
So he's not feeling it so bad for Eddie in a minute.
Yeah, now it's like, ooh. And we know that this is
like what happened to him is bad, but you were like, you're not innocent in this situation.
Yeah. Like, and we know that Bruno takes this personally because this is something that happened to him as well. And he's like the same age. Sam's like the same age as Bruno was when it happened to him. And he quit. Sam basically quit because he didn't want to be alone with him.
Yeah, because Eddie was kind of intentionally making situations so that they were together.
And he felt bad, but he's like, he didn't know how to tell his dad. He was afraid to tell his dad. And basically, Bruno was like, if I had a kid and someone hurt him, I would want to know. Let your dad be your dad, and I want to help you through it.
Yeah, because at first they're kind of thinking the dad maybe did it. I mean, not quite. I get this point, maybe.
Yeah, it's like now they get this, and they're like, "Did Sam do it?" And he's like fully honest with Bruno. He's like, "I didn't do it, but I would have wanted to."
Yeah.
So it's like, great. Now we gotta figure out
who did this.
Why? Like that if there was somebody else who he did this to that actually did it. And then in like a turn of events that literally no one saw coming, but everyone was like, oh, we see Bruno going to Olivia's apartment.
Yeah, you need to tell her right now. He did not have time to. He's like, I gotta go tell her.
She was like, oh, I was waiting for your call. And he's like, I know.
I show up.
I'll tell you. And then she's like, okay, come in. And then, of course, there's a bunch of people that were like, he stayed the night, right? 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 Like, apparently people...
It's a crack ship, okay? Some of us had this as one of our friends has it as a crack ship.
It's funny. I mean, hey, I don't blame them. They're both attractive. It's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah, literally. So we also get like a new view of Olivia's apartment, but then we also just have
the door, because no one's ever shown this apartment from the doorway yet. There's certain angles that we've seen, but like not that angle of like going out.
It's weird because Bruno's knocking on the door and he like looked around like see if anybody else was there. Like, dude,
what are you doing? Dude. What are you acting suspicious for? Like
So anyway, there's that. And then we get the next day when they call Sam and his family in, and Olivia is pretty much like, these conversations are difficult to have. And they help Sam tell his parents what happened. And of course, his parents are heartbroken.
Yeah.
But they are not mad at Sam. They are mad at Eddie because they're like, he abused you. Of course, we're not mad at you. Then
person for that.
yeah, so like, and then his parents are like thankful for them telling him, and they go in to be like, so is there gonna have to be like a trial
Yeah, that kind of stuff, you know.
now? And because he's a minor, and Olivia's pretty much like, oh, we'll talk to our ADA and see if we can get him a deal, but if he doesn't, then probably he will have to
Yeah.
testify. Um, so yeah. So now his parents know, and they start looking into, like, past cases, like, has this guy done this before?
Mhm.
And so they have Curry and Velasco going down to like the evidence lockers, evidence hunting, and there's a lot of stuff, including because he literally has a whole file of sex abuse cases, including one involving an 8-year-old from
Yeah, really.
2001.
Yeah, so you all see the connection now. Y'all starting
You
to see the
see the
connection
date
here.
connection now.
Now you should understand.
And so then they have Finn go to check in with Olivia because he's like, I know this is probably hard for you.
Yeah.
Because we find out that the girl, it happened when she was 8 to 11. She waited a year
She didn't
to
disclose until she was
just close. So the defense pretty much like twisted it
so,
around, making it look like she wasn't remembering details.
yeah.
And he was acquitted.
Yeah.
To which I say, how the fuck do you not believe an 11-year-old?
Well, also, I think they kind of talk about. I think Olivia does say like it's also the time period. It's 2001, where people there's still a
Oh
timing
yeah,
in the world
people weren't
where kind of
thinking about
people
that.
children should be seen. Children should be seen and not heard. You know, the kind of like
But it's literally like, what the hell? What
why
11-year-old would come up with this and make it up for no apparent reason?
exactly.
So yeah, so yes, they have this guy definitely did it, but the jury acquitted him,
Hmm.
and Olivia is like beyond pissed. So then they go talk to the ex-wife because
Hmm.
now it's kind of putting together pieces of that's why they got divorced and not just
Just
because.
because. Mhm.
And they find out that unfortunately the little girl was friends with their daughter,
With their daughter, so you know,
which is how he got close to her in the first place.
yeah,
And the
so,
ex-wife was like, "Oh, the girl had a messed up family, so she lied." And
and
the
like
the
no,
detectives are like, "Yeah, we know she didn't fucking lie, and your husband
exactly,
shouldn't have got it acquitted. So
exactly.
where can we find her?" And we find out her name is Angela Jones, and that unfortunately, after
This
this,
destroyed her life.
it literally destroyed her life. She was in prison for 5 years because of the downfall of the trial and the abuse, and she turned to illicit substances and
Hmm.
everything. The system basically failed her, and it should not have happened because it is she's alive,
She literally was a child, and they were like, well,
literally. And then Olivia is talking about the case, and then she's like, she was 8 when it started, and the jury just let him go.
exactly,
So, and again, they reiterate she waited a year to report, so the defense tried to create reasonable doubt. I what the literally, if I was on that jury, I'd be like, we would have a hung jury because there's no way I'd be letting this
children.
guy
Unfortunately, children are not believed as much as they should be,
not
and
being
their
found.
lives fall apart. And then their lives fall apart because this does a lot of psychological damage.
And then so they go to hold on 1 second. Yeah, so they go to talk to Eddie, And Eddie is basically like, yeah, that girl was lying. And they're like, Bruno and Finn are like, yeah, no. Like, basically, like, you're gonna get in trouble for this. You should never have been found not guilty. Because before then, Bruno and Finn are walking in the hospital, and Bruno's like, if I had a kid and a person did that, my face would be the last thing they see.
Like the last.
And Bruno's like, oh, I shouldn't say that, I'm a cop. And Finn's like, but you're human first.
Yeah. You just want to give him one of these, you know, when somebody's harming children.
And so then we go to find Angela, and Curry sees her, and we get Curry, badass, running, I think, in her heels.
Yeah. Bruno's running, I think it's Bruno. Whoever's with her is running one way, and she's running the other way.
Literally following Angela to the point of literally tackling her on a car.
Yeah. Like,
and they arrest her. And at this whole point, I'm like, I don't blame this girl one bit. Like, your accuser, your child sexual assault abuser was acquitted when he shouldn't have been. Yeah, I would fucking do it too.
She's in the interrogation room and she's handcuffed still because
and like, why is she handcuffed? And
she tried to bite the uni.
Tried to bite the uni.
And then Olivia's like, "Can we like have a calm conversation? Can we take these cuffs off of her?"
Yeah, so they take off the cuffs. We do find out that
she doesn't want to talk at first.
Yeah, but to top it all off, the daughter, the Upshaw's daughter, believed Angela.
Nobody else, but no one else did.
Yeah. And Angela's like, yeah, I did it. She doesn't feel guilty.
Yeah, I'm not sorry.
And she goes on to be like, yeah, makes two of us.
I didn't feel guilty. Yeah, I don't feel guilty.
You didn't feel guilty?
Maybe he'll feel. Maybe he didn't feel guilty. He didn't feel guilty when he was harming this child, so why should I?
But Olivia is like, but you do these things like this and you let guys like that win. And she's like, I don't care. I remember him.
Angela
remember what he did to me even on my best days.
She can't forget about it.
He didn't scar me once. He scarred me every day since. And then she goes, trust me. It was worth it. And yeah, no, I don't blame her one bit.
Man, she said, well, he'll be scarred too since he scarred me. And like,
yep, like I don't blame you one bit. You go, girl.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not all for like vigilante justice, but like in a case like this, yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. So they're gonna still try to give her a deal because she is a victim. But yeah, Cruzy is like, she had to talk to us first. Now I'm gonna see what I can do.
There's someone out there like that.
And so then we get Curry walking back into the precinct, and everybody's looking at her.
Everybody knows about what she just did.
Yeah, everyone knows about what she did. And they're like, what? And she's like, what? And Finn is like, well, it's looking like you should quit your day job and join the NFL.
Yeah. I might posted it behind the scenes of the tackle scene, and she's like, she wasn't the person obviously running because the stunt doubles, but she posted the video of it, and it's pretty great.
Well, I'm tackling her in heels and everything. Like, yeah, running. Hurry. Then we get Sam and Bruno talking again.
Yeah.
And he's like, am I gonna end up like that?
Like Angela is basically
hurting people because they hurt me. And then they're like, no, like this is why you're going to therapy. Like,
and it's
literally it's like I didn't say it, but like in my head, I was like, no, you're not gonna be like that because he's actually gonna be found guilty for what he did to you.
He's not getting away with it this time.
He's not getting away with it this time.
And justice will be served.
He's not getting away with it for like 2 decades.
No, he's not getting away with it again.
And so they do work out a deal that Angela will get mental
for
health.
Angela anyway.
And she'll stay on parole. And Olivia goes, you know, Angela, I hate what you did, but I hate what was done to you more.
Yeah. But she won't be facing jail time, so yeah. No.
And that's
at least Angela won't be.
it.
That's it. The accuser. Yep.
Like Olivia doesn't like anybody like
hurting people violently.
Hurting people.
She doesn't like
sexually assaulting people for vengeance. But like
she understands that, you know.
Understands this girl went through hell to not have. All right. So
all right.
House overtime. And
no, we're gonna rate this one first. Hold on, you gotta rate it first. It's a 4. I like.
Yeah,
I don't like that. Like this one, but you know, justice was served. I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Okay, crossover.
So play with fire.
We're gonna preface it by saying apparently Olivia can't fucking be happy.
No, it's not again.
Anywhere. At all. What the fuck?
Everyone was actually pretty mad about this. They were like, "Wait a second."
Yeah, literally, it's like what? So we get.
Because the first time they showed this promo the first time, and it's not as clear as it is the second time, because they edited it a little bit to be the SVU focus the second time they showed this promo.
So they get this like Olivia at a crime scene, and we see her like with her hands folded, like her like shocked look face.
You know how she does. Yes.
And then we transition to her talking to Brady, and Brady goes, "You
must be close to me." She was like, "Yeah."
And she's like, yeah, I rescued her when she was a kid. And then we get like, flashbacks for 911.
Yeah,
and you're like,
Maria. When they pull her out of the hole, is it like, and they're pulling her out of a hole again.
And then you literally have Olivia sitting in like a church with a picture of Maria in her dress blues from the day that she was
she inducted into police academy. She graduated the police academy at the end. At the end, but the like
it's literally like
the mid part of 25, somewhere in there. She graduated the police academy, and now she's dead.
Yeah, literally, like Olivia did not risk everything to fucking save this girl for her to be dead. For her to now be dead.
Exactly. Like
what the hell?
Because every time the first time it was like, "Oh, is that Maria?" They're like, "It really is Maria." Oh, dear God.
Like there was absolutely no reason for them to have to kill
unnecessary. Her Why? They like to see us suffering, like is.
Yeah, literally, someone was like, "So much for Olivia's healing this fucking season."
We're like, no one promised.
Well, now it does make sense that like they said, didn't they say at the beginning of the season that something was bad was going to happen to somebody close to her?
Yeah, they did.
And
a lot of bad things happened to a lot of people.
Really, but this is that. I don't know.
Y'all.
Yeah. So unfortunately.
So they gotta,
Maria is dead, and they gotta find this person who killed her and other people. And we
because she's not the first one.
Yeah.
I wish
this is like the one that like kind of puts everybody on.
I forgot to link the second one because I think we were just so in shock that I never went and linked the second for the promos.
Parisi and Price teaming up.
Okay, hold on. The first one, I had to make sure I covered everything. We covered everything. That was 7 days ago. Play with Fire Part 1. 911's gonna be crazy too, y'all, for real.
Yeah, literally.
It's okay. So it says a mysterious phone call leads Captain Benson of Special Victims Unit. It leads detectives to the scene of a brutal murder. That's the first one. So that's the description for the first one.
You gotta be fucking brutal.
Yeah. Literally. They show the clip of her taking Maria. Okay, so I think we covered that. Because there's a lot going on. It's not just like there's some craziness going on because there's like a serial person. They they're all going guns blazing. Yeah, it's a lot going on. That's the first one. The second part. I mean, the first promo. The second promo, because they do a second one. It's mostly the same, except they change. I think they changed one thing. I think. Well, actually, they added something to, which is nothing I care about.
And then they have this weird clip of Stabler at the end, and people.
Hold on. There was a line that I think is very. The thing is, Olivia says sometimes you have to ask for forgiveness rather than permission, and then this weird clip of Stabler showing up. Like, what in the world?
Yeah, what? It's like, not the first time anybody said that, but it's also like, I'm confused.
Why?
Is he gonna be in the episode, or
we figured he's gonna be in some episode a couple of weeks ago, because if y'all remember, we were recording when we found out.
Oh yeah,
y'all remember that episode? We were recording, we were talking. Our friends posted something. We were like, "What?" And then, but like, it doesn't make sense. So it's not like, because it's not like we can justify it being like, "All right, okay, I see where this is coming from." It doesn't even make sense. Like, did they just make up some bullshit to like, "All right, slide this in real quick so you all can watch organized crime"? Like, that seems really cheap. And like, it's this really cheapness of like, it's really cheapness of like making people watch organized crime. I don't like when they do that, actually, because it kind of does this like really gross bait thing that they've done a long time. I thought they were getting away from this finally, and they're still doing it, which is very weird. But that like, why is he here? Like, well, he just showed up, like, because this is a scene where like Olivia has to shoot somebody per se, and then Elliot's like holding somebody against the wall.
He's wearing a gray sweatshirt, which is what I think Chris is wearing that day. So
yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that
we don't fucking know what's happening.
Well, like he is being violent. He is like choke slamming somebody. Also,
they were mixing up,
pushing someone against the wall. But yeah, he's like pushing somebody against the wall and all. It's how Elliot be. It's not surprising that he's gonna beat somebody up.
Like, so to clarify what we're getting tomorrow, we get Crossover, which they said is going to be like a 2-hour movie.
And Organized Crime will show the first episode right after.
Organized Crime, and then the second episode of Organized Crime with Olivia will be on Peacock.
Yeah, well, they'll both be on Peacock, but but you'll get the first one will be on TV also.
Yeah.
So.
Also, we finally get Creasy and Price teaming up, and to make it even more exciting,
they made a little video. We can't play the audio of the video.
They made a very They made a very hot video because.
Y'all go. Okay, it's on the NBC page. Y'all on the Instagram.
But also to make it even more exciting, their opponent is Rita.
Yes, I forgot. We were gonna bring that up. That's what I forgot. So we'll go with these articles.
Like, oh my god.
Okay, so there's an article that came out today from Collider that was like, Collider is like fan. They're not real news, okay? But like they were like, they basically said something really funny though. They were like, they had pre-watched it already. They watched the episode for tomorrow already, and they were like, basically EOs have nothing to be hopeful for. basically what they said it was, there's no reason for you to be happy. I said, oh, okay, pop off. I guess Collider. They basically what they said. That's basically the summary of the article was like. They kind of they're like nothing. They were crossover anyway, all right? Oh, okay, so we have some more articles that came out about the crossover, and then we'll talk about it. We figured nothing was happening. It's to bait y'all into watching this show. We've told you this a million times, but nobody seems to get it in their head. Sorry. But sorry. Okay, so Hugh did an interview about the crossover. Basically saying that like he was really excited about working with Mariska again. I might have been
the only one, but I fucking read it in his British accent.
I forgot he had a British accent for real.
I keep forgetting that he has one.
But like, he says it's a great pleasure to work with Mariska again. How like
and he's like amazed by like how she's been doing this for so long and like is always able to enthuse herself, and it's awesome, and it's like oh.
Yeah, he also kind of says that like
can they not
they kind of ask him like
episode though, please.
Yeah, they basically said like Olivia's kind of trying to jump the gun of like we need to get justice now, and he's like we got hoops to jump through. We can't just and
then it's pretty much like him and Carisi are like, well, if you get all the evidence thrown out, we're not going to be able to do anything
at all, because we have like her like Olivia's approach and and Brady's approach, kind of butting heads, and then both of them against the lawyers here. So
the lawyers are literally just like, oh my god, come on.
There's some legal steps here. We have to take legal steps before we, do such
and then
steps.
Peter put out a little article, and it was sweet because it said that he watched the Mothership growing up with his mom, and now his character. Well, he was on the Mothership as a guest star, but now his character Creasy is going to be on the Mothership.
I thought that's Criminal Intent. Was he on the original too? Criminal Intent, Diamond Dogs.
Oh yes, Criminal Intent. I'm getting.
You will never forget Diamond Dogs. If you've seen it, you will not forget Diamond Dogs. Okay.
I haven't, but
you should go watch it. Okay, go watch it after this and be like.
I don't know where to find it, but okay.
It's on Peacock because it's a Law and Order show. It's called Diamond Dogs.
Okay. Anyway, so
because basically, okay, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it. Basically, he's kind of he's like a young person-ish, and he's commits a really bad robbery where people like it's not like you think of like Peter, you think of a sweet person. This guy initially is, and then he like shoots up a bunch of people in a robbery, and you're like. Go watch it, okay? Your homework is go watch Diamond Dogs and tell me what you think, okay?
Okay, anyway, so yeah, Peter's like, I grew up watching the Mothership. Now my character who was first a cop and now a lawyer, is going to be on the show with all these like seasoned lawyers taking a case.
Exactly. So, it'll be fun, I guess.
It's like, finally we get something I've been waiting for fucking forever. We get Creasy, we get Peter and Husey. Yay!
Yes.
There's only one more person we need to add to that to make it a perfect trio.
Yes.
Hint, hint, NBC. Hint, hint.
Exactly. Like, listen.
Like, literally, I don't know what I want more. I don't know if I want Creasy and Price versus Barba, or if I want Creasy, Price, and Barba.
I like seeing them as a team,
Can I have both? Can we get both?
Okay.
That's possible.
We did write. We didn't finish it. We still need to. Sorry, y'all. We still got to work on Holiday Appealing, but we did write Barbara as a prosecutor again, and that was very fun.
Yes, we can.
It was very fun. We got to finish it, y'all, because it was kind of we were bumping, and then we kind of started working on something else. So my bad.
Yeah. We do. Yes, but so yes, we have that to look forward to of Rita defending her client, and she's like,
yes.
Apparently, it's like my client didn't do it, but they're like,
we don't know. But you get to see Rita. That was a surprise too. They kind of like it was in an article, be like, oh, by the way, the defense attorney.
By the way,
you're like,
she's a defense attorney again.
It's like at the bottom of this article that came out. It was like the last sentence in the article. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah, like we literally thought it was just for that one episode, and they're like, nope.
No, they said we got to have a little Miss Marvel back. Like,
yeah.
What was I gonna say? Okay, so organized crime. It also comes back. We kind of talked about this a little bit. So Chris did a lot of stuff. Okay, very boring stuff. But to be me, it was boring. Okay, I'm not gonna.
So much shit.
Talking so much about Mariska. Like you have nothing else to talk about. Kalli.
I don't care, dude.
I don't care. He's done like press stuff like every day this week, and then like done articles all day with Dean. To tell you something that he didn't do him with Mariska, he did him with Dean. So y'all should really be sad and disappointed because it's probably not gonna be what they think is going to happen. All right, I'm being real. Yes. So we'll get the first two tomorrow. The first one, I had the description. We tell you about this. We have a description, but I forgot to save that on my notes here, so I think I have it on my phone. Sorry, I got the birthdays and my throat's all weird. The first one it says actually 551. Lost Highway is 5-1, but I forgot to get a description. It's some stuff about my bad. I forgot to get a Lost Highway description. I thought it would be easier to find Lost Highway. Basically we know that Elliot initially was not going to go undercover. But then he decides he's going to go.
Yeah, I don't want Reyes to do it, and for some reason he has to do it. I don't know why though. They didn't make that clear yet.
Yeah, about why he doesn't want to go, but he does eventually go. Yes, he does go. Yeah,
and they didn't.
They show a couple clips
to why Reyes didn't want to go, but And she's just like, okay, you don't have to.
But Reyes does go undercover eventually, all right, but
He
not
does.
yet.
He will be doing something.
That'll be episode
did
3
say
or 4.
that.
I think it was episode 4. I think it says that, like, hold on, I had it pulled up on my phone.
Oh, also, the show decided to fucking mess with us again.
I don't know
So
what dark.
they mentioned one of the plot points this season was going to be a courthouse.
Oh yeah. It was in the promo. We were like, because we said I better not, Carisi better not be there. We were saying that for weeks. But we knew Carisi was gonna be on an episode because in the summertime they showed an outside of scene of him walking out with Stapler. So they were like,
yeah. And
but at this point, we did not have, like,
yeah. And literally the fucking
traumatized Carisi,
is,
so we weren't like horribly worried. But now I'm worried.
Yeah, literally, and then we got
traumatized Carisi. We were like,
summary.
Really better not get hurt in this.
Literally came out and said, and this is episode 3, and it says, after an attack on one of Carisi's trials.
Yes, that's it, bro. What?
Are you kidding me?
So next week we'll see that one.
Like, no, the dude is just healing. What the fuck?
Because we don't know. We know time. Okay, organized crime time and SVU time are different. For one, we clearly know this. We know at least 6-7-ish months have passed since the end of the season because Becky is very pregnant. That's the only reason why we can kind of say I can estimate. I can't be certain. So we don't know how that time lines up with SVU's time. So we don't know if, like, this is forward cornered or after cornered. Okay, because they have no time cards in organized crime. So we don't know how time works. So like, so why would they do that to that poor man like that? He's already traumatized.
Yeah, so anyway,
and it's not just like, because this is not just like, that the robbery, okay, with 2 people. Okay, this is bad, but this is like organized crime, like type of shooting. Shit. Okay, this is why we're like,
shit.
Yeah, it's basically summed it up. All right. So hopefully, making sure that poor man does not need to be traumatized any further.
Yeah, literally. And to everyone who's like freaking out over Olivia visiting Stabler in the hospital, like, I'm sorry, they're still friends.
Yeah.
That's
a reasonable thing to do.
Reasonable thing to do when your friend has literally just got hit by a fucking
semi
18-wheeler.
Literally an 18-wheeler. Yeah. But some people were saying, as our friends were joking, being like, what if she actually isn't there and it's a hallucination?
I think that, oh my god.
He sees Kathy instead. I said,
But
I was saying that, like, what if, because the voice that people that, like, they show isn't exactly clear that it is Olivia. Okay, people assumed it to be true, but it could be Kathy.
As much as I would love that, I don't think it will be the case because they show a picture of Mariska with Ayana and Randall.
Yeah. So yes, we'll find out tomorrow or later tonight. Who knows what'll happen eventually? You'll know.
Yeah, we do get her finally meeting his brother.
Yeah. Okay. Apparently he makes a brisket or something like that. That was in some article I read somewhere. About
Wait, literally?
Yeah, that was real. I forgot where. No, that was real. We don't know if she was like. Because there's something joke about the brisket. He was like, yo, that was for real. We weren't actually joking about that. She really did.
That's funny. So yeah.
So there's some joke about a brisket. But this is her only appearance on Organized Crime. And this is Elliot's only appearance on SVU. So I don't know if they're thinking that how much content they're gonna get out of this, but
we don't know. Anyway.
Unless they're thinking of some Yos are about thinking there's some kind of secret conspiracy that there was more in Deadpool. Anyway.
And it does say that yes, Reyes will go undercover eventually with Los Santos. The gang
was that the one with there's a lot of gangs in Orange County. I don't remember which one that is. Okay, which one was supposed
right now? And literally
everyone's going undercover. Jet's going undercover in the third, in the second, no, in the second one or the third one.
Ellie's going undercover. Our girl going undercover.
It's somewhere at the beginning too. It's either the first one or the second one because it's either the first episode or the second episode because the actor who plays the guy who's like in the bad guy with the trucks said these pictures were from episode 2, I think. So it's relatively or 1 or 2, something like that.
I am concerned because we literally know nothing else about what our girl is doing except going undercover and the promo showing that she's in trouble. So somebody tell me she's gonna be okay. It's
Well, that's
literally
kind of
the only reason I fucking watched the show.
Hey, Yana, not I mean, Danielle, sorry, character mix. Hey, Danielle
Yeah,
did an interview,
Danielle
and
is
she
literally the
basically
reason why I watched the show. I need them to be
the
okay.
interview, and Danielle kind of does kind of in a sense kind of makes me a little upset because in a sense she should be talking about herself and her own character. She literally is like, I'm honest with y'all, I get no story in the season. You're like, what? What
Boo.
you
No
mean?
personal life.
She was like, I'm gonna be
Boo.
honest with y'all, I don't actually have any more backstory in the season. So you're like,
Yeah, she's like, hopefully next season. And it's like, oh,
hopefully, okay. Because it's a big, question mark still. But like she kind of also talked about something that's really important in how like TV roles typically black women end up being this like mammy type character to the other characters, which the white. And like she's like, I don't want that for myself. So I advocated that they did not do that. So they did not make her too motherly. They did initially at the beginning, but they kind of have fixed this because she said she wanted it fixed. So they have done that, which is good. But that's the really thing about this organized crime season that makes me not excited about it is that like we've been
why
on for
is it gotta
5
be you
seasons.
all the
We've been
time?
here for 5 seasons and like we know very little about anybody else in this like Stabler family drama. While
We have
sometimes
like bits and pieces about the other characters, but that's it.
little lore drop, they drop a little lore here and there, and then you're like, wait, what? And then we hear nothing
Yeah,
else about it ever again.
divorced lesbian,
Yeah.
tech
Also
girl
another,
with dad and mom issues,
and also
and
divorced. Also
another
divorced.
divorce,
And then a
cheating
divorce.
detective. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, he's also divorced. Like we had two detectives die in the 5 seasons. You like I don't
Literally, there's no reason for the 2 deaths. There's no reason for the fucking affair. I try to ignore that, but like, what the
yeah,
hell?
who wrote this? Like who wrote this? Like I'm still got beef with them. Whoever
There's
you are, I got beef
literally
with you still.
20. There is 20 years between the 2 of them.
Exactly, question mark on that, but we don't know exactly how old they are. But there's enough
I
that
meant
like
in real
raises.
life. I don't know character wise, but in
Yeah.
real life, there's like 20
It
years.
feels icky. It felt really icky, and it kind of like you had traumas, like trauma bonded, and it's
Yeah,
really
literally
icky.
trauma
And
bonding turned affair, but literally how one of them is like, we need to stop. This never should have happened. And then the
we
other
should
is
not
like,
have done this.
but yes. It's like, no.
No. X, no. That was a bad plot one. Sorry, this is also the thing I have beef with organized crime about is the storytelling is horrible. Like you can write a good. I feel like there's plenty of good shows that are organized crime in a sense, like FBI shows stuff like that. But like this is like some boo boo ass writing sometimes. I'd be like,
it's sad because you can tell they all love their show so much.
They like their jobs and they like their show, but they get treated so badly.
What the fuck?
Their characters get treated so badly, but they like their job. Okay, that's why I'm like, you deserve better. Okay, you all deserve better.
Yeah, apparently everybody just has to be sad and single.
Exactly, and sad, mostly sad.
Mostly sad.
Mostly sad, making bad decisions about themselves. And sad.
Yeah.
Okay, like. So hopefully the writing. Chris wrote the second episode, right?
I still hope they have somebody react to their haircut because it's like you literally can't just have a girl show up with that short of hair and no one notice anything.
Yeah, but like, also, what was I gonna say about that? It wasn't about their haircut, but it was kind of like this thought of like organized crime doomed everyone from the start, but making it only about Stabler, and then kept doing it. It's not like they could have fixed this problem seasons ago, but they didn't. It's like
very much could have.
They did not fix it, and because they dug themselves a deeper and deeper and deeper hole, and because they have not delivered on ego, which they never will probably, and they've dug the hole into the grave now.
It's like we were talking about with their friend. It's like, yay, we're finally getting our show back. But why does this have to be the cost?
The quality of the show is not good. And they need to fix it because if they don't fix it,
they're not happening.
Renewal is questionable if they don't fix it. Okay, renewal will be questionable, right?
Like you're your cast members shouldn't be having to do a shit ton of side projects.
Yeah, to make their coin, to make their
Yeah.
ends. Like, oh, I was gonna say, Chris wrote the second episode, and
Oh yeah.
Danielle kind of says this thing of like, he did a good job, but we gave him a lot of shit for it. So
Oh,
like,
I mean, I would have done the same thing. Like, haha.
I don't know if she's just being nice and saying he did a good job, or like he really didn't, and they kind of were like, "This is terrible. We need to fix this." And then
We'll
another
find out.
article by somebody else who's a guest star was like, Crystal just rewrite stuff, and then like a whole fight scene was added, and that's not even in the original script. And I was just like,
Well, we'll
wait,
find out soon if it's actually good or not.
yeah, literally tomorrow we'll find out. Okay, literally tomorrow. So yeah, I don't know if it'll be good or not. We may
All I
drag
know is
ourselves through the ringer again
everybody better fucking be okay.
and alive. As long as everyone comes out of this
Or we
alive.
riot.
Exactly, because this better not be a waste of my time. They better not be wasting my time again.
Yeah, literally, exactly. I've
Don't
been
waste
waiting
my
for this
time.
for fucking months.
Definitely don't waste my time. If I'm gonna be disappointed, I could watch something else. I can deal with my insomnia other ways besides watching all this crime.
Yeah, literally. I just need everybody to be okay. That's it.
Yeah, and I highly doubt it because, okay, being for real, I highly doubt they're gonna do anything to further their plot lines. Okay, so like I think we'll be in the same boat we were the end of last
Yes,
season.
but I'm
Okay,
literally concerned because they haven't mentioned anything
yeah,
else about our
yeah.
girl though.
There's an
So I'm
article that also talks
concerned.
about how like Joe Jr. is still missing, and like Bernie claims she's talking to Joe Jr. This is like with the later the second, like the more closer to the second half of like Joe Jr. is missing still. And Bernie says she's talking to Joe Jr. And then they're like not certain if she's like for real or is she
Or
just manic. We don't
depends
really
on the
know.
situation.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know if she's for real or not. And you're like, like Eli shot somebody. Well, I don't know if Elliot's covering this up, because how he is about, covering up for his children because he covered up for Kathleen. She got the DUI, and then the when she was manic and she robbed those people, and then he didn't want her to go to jail, and then yeah, y'all know about that episode, all right? And then Kathy literally like slapped him, being like, "You don't like." I forgot Kathy literally slapped him in that episode because she was like, this is our child. Like, we're trying to save her mental well being, and y'all you're covering it up for her." So
Okay, I think
we
that's
made a
enough.
joke about parents. But there's a clip like also came out that like Elliot is not at Eli's like party after he's like,
Of course.
he sends him a voicemail being like, "I'm so proud of you, son. You've grown up." And then he's working on the semi. That's what he says, and you're like, seriously, we're doing this again. We're sending these voicemails again. Seriously. Yeah. Sorry, I had to
Yeah,
rant about
like
that.
of
That
course
made
he
me
didn't
mad
show
also.
up.
Literally. So I don't know if we're excited or crossover excited about it, or this crime.
We don't know yet.
We're gonna drag ourselves to the ringer either way and then report back to you, okay? Literally gonna drag ourselves through the ringer
Literally,
multiple
I
times
did the first after the
every week.
first two. I'm going to decide if I even keep watching.
It probably, yeah. We'll kind of like, if we feel like it's at a point where there's no redemption, we'll report back on that, okay? Because y'all don't understand, like podcasting takes a lot of time, and we're doing this for free, so I don't get my investment back on watching this show.
Yeah, so pay us, please.
Yeah, that means y'all gotta get these views up, please. Like, I'd rather do this than a real job because I actually don't have a job.
Literally, I would love to do this instead of a real job.
Yeah, yeah, I don't even have a real job anymore, so that was being for I really don't have a job anymore. But yeah. So that means
Okay.
you all gotta help us make content because that's way more fun than real work.
Yes, literally. And I think
Yapping
that's
about
it.
TV. That's it for. I think we're done because I need to upload this because it's Wednesday. It means you all need to get it today. So, we're gonna shut up and don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any final thoughts, we're going.
Thank you for listening. Bye bye.
Thanks for listening to me. Bye. See you all next week. Goodbye. Leave in the recording. In the recording. Manage recording. End.
Bye.
Bye.